Okay, so I think we're ready to start. Hi, everybody. I am Nati Karfi. I'm the Executive Director of the Open Data Charter. This is our implementation working group call, as always, the last Tuesday of every month, except for March, where we celebrate Open Data Day, and so it's a different month. And this month, we actually have the pleasure of formally introducing, after an amazing presentation blog, I have the pleasure of introducing our new implementation working group co-chair. He is Joe Tansey. You can see him here. He will be leading the session. Joe is the Open Data Charter newly appointed implementation working group co-chair representing government. He's a product manager on the digital planning team at the Department of Living in Lab, Housing and Communities for the UK government, where he works to unlock planning and housing data that will be the foundation of modernizing England's planning system. Thank you, Joe, for being here. Thank you for taking up this role. We're more than happy to have you. And without further ado, I leave the floor to you and this amazing session that we will be getting started. Once again, we have interpretation services. If you need to hear Spanish or English, you can change it in the bottom of the Zoom. Joe, the floor is yours.
Amazing. Thank you, Nati. So hi, everyone. Lovely to meet you all. As Nati says, I'm Joe Tansey, the new governmental co-chair. So really looking forward to working you all with the next kind of couple of months and years ahead. So for the session today, just a reminder, it is being recorded. And as Nati said, we do normally only have 3 speakers, but we're lucky enough to be joined by 4 today. So for them speakers, if you can try and stick to 10 minutes, because we will have the Q&A at the end of the session. So if you do have any questions, please feel free to put them in the chat, or equally at the end of all the presentations, we'll open the floor for people to verbally add their comments in. I'll introduce the speakers one by one, just conscious of time. And the first speaker we've got today is Panos Fitsilis, who is Professor, Project Coordinator of the DevOps Competences for Smart Cities at the University of Thessaly, and an Academic Coordinator and Lecturer at the School of Science and Technology. So Panos, over to you if you're there.
Thank you. Good evening. Thank you for the invitation. It's really nice to be with you tonight. Let me share with you my screen because I have prepared a presentation. Actually, please give me a warning if the time has passed. So I will try to speak on our work, that one of the pillars of our work is open educational programs, in the sense that we are focusing on how to deliver the open principles to our students and to our trainees. But before doing so, I would like to present my university. It's called University of Thessaly. Is at the center of Greece, and there we have a lab that is called Mandis Lab, that is about management, digital, and educational skill developments and competencies. So, of course, since we are a university, we have educational goals to develop, to do the reskilling, to upskill, to provide innovative programs, because there are many VET providers in the area. So what we want to do, because we're a university, to give the next type of programs, new curricula, new type of skills, new occupational profiles that are going to be needed in the next year. And of course, in relation with this, we would like to advance and to prepare this curricula to do some foresight on the market. I remind everybody and the audience that in Greece we have in Greece the European Union organization SEDEFOP is based at Salonika, so we have SEDEFOP nearby that they are doing an amazing job, and of course to connect with the local community or at the national level or at European level. In this context, we have a number of projects that are related with smart cities, and we have a number of projects, and we are doing development work related with open data, open science, and so on. So these are the projects that we have run at the past. So Smart DevOps is a project that was about smart cities and how to introduce the new occupational profile that are going to be needed at our municipalities, because we, as you know, our life is depending on technology these days. A crisis project came a little bit afterwards in order to deal with the resilience needs of the projects, of the society. And currently we're running a project that is about open data, how the cities will deliver open data to businesses and to individuals, so for various reasons. So this is called OpenDCO. So DevOps project was the first one that we developed, and this was a sector alliance. It lasted 36 months. It was an Erasmus Plus project. We had a number of partners from different countries, and you can find more information about the project on the website. smartdevops.eu is the website. So we develop a community of practice that's still working, exchanging information, good practices, messages, and we were the coordinator. This project was 3 years long, and it was completed. However, with this project, we ourselves and our partners, we realized that we have to, when we offer education programs, innovative new education programs, we have to focus and see these trainings from very different perspectives, from different dimensions. So develop transversal competencies, the top of ICT competencies, new competencies that do not exist in the market. At that time, it was DevOps, an innovative software development methodology, and of course, competence and skills that were related with the domain that we were working on. So this one was on smart cities. And we offered some MOOCs. We had, the MOOC was quite successful. Without any serious marketing effort, we managed to have 1,000 participants over 58 countries. I don't know where they found us, from Pakistan or from Indonesia, but anyway, and the success rate, the completion rate was quite high, above than 25%. Actually, 280 people completed these MOOCs. This means that it was something needed and successful. Then and of course, some outputs of our work, Smart City Body of Knowledge. If you go to the website I mentioned before, I can make the presentation available, of course, at the end of the meeting. So you can download this Smart City Body of Knowledge. This was the first body of knowledge that was publicly available to everybody. And of course, academically, we produce this volume at Springer Nature Publishing House with title Building Smart City Skill and Competencies. That I had the honor to be the editor. So the next one was crisis. Crisis focused on the resilience problem, how to develop the resilience capabilities of the personnel of of cities. And actually, this came, even though we started this project before COVID. So COVID came just afterwards in order to validate that there was a need of this. And the acronym was crisis. Again, it was Erasmus Plus, 24 months. It just ended last month. So again, we had a MOOC. We developed a new curriculum for resilience. And this was quite interesting because we have seen how much we need to, this is an area actually that a lot of work needs to be done, because nothing was existing up to that moment. And I'm going through it quite quickly in order to reach to the point that I would like to present, that it was, this point is the efforts that we have done in our laboratory in relation with the openness of data. So in this context, we are developing three educational programs. One is currently, we are doing the first pilot, and it is about how we will deliver open data in the context of smart cities. The second one is how we'll develop the same context within our universities. And the third one is how we'll promote the idea of open science in the academic community, which is again something that is missing. So a few things about OpenDCO. The full name of the project is Open Data City Officer. The acronym is OpenDCO. Sorry for speaking so fast, but I have so many things to say. So excuse my, I don't know if the translation is proper to Spanish. Anyway, I don't see any complaint. So this project is currently ongoing, and currently we're doing the pilot of this educational program. We have developed a number of curriculum that addresses the knowledge that somebody wants to develop open data sets in the context of a smart city should have. So we have developed a brand new curriculum, and we have defined occupational profiles. So ideally, all big cities should have somebody that should assume this role. I don't know if it is a full-time job, so we don't have statistics on this, but somebody definitely should have this role on every city. Actually, many European cities already have this function since they are producing open data. However, some others are trying to do it, or they are doing it in a way that is not correct. So currently, we provide the pilot training, and that only in Greece has more or less 100 participants, which shows the interest of the people on this topic. And as you can see, we have structured this educational program in 3 areas. The first one, the first group of competencies has to do with the smart cities. The second one has to do with open data fundamental technologies on the right side. So you need to know how to analyze the data. You have to know how to governance these processes, to establish a systematic way to do it, to address the security, to know the standards, the regulations, in order to assess the quality of the data, because it doesn't have a meaning to upload and make available data of poor quality. Actually, you are increasing the entropy of the system, and of course, to be aware of the best practices of other cities. So this is an educational program that is currently available and is offered, at least in Greece, for more than 100 participants currently are following it, and we are offering it in English through our Cypriot partner, which is University of Nicosia. It's going to be offered in Germany by Ferni Universitat, and in Portugal by University of Minho. So this will be available in 5 languages: English, German, Portuguese, and Greek. Sorry, 4 languages. Okay, and this started the pilot. The pilot training started end of March, and it will continue till the end of June. It has 20 modules. Some of them are compulsory, some of them are elective. It has a number of assignments. So every week we have contact hours with the students over the internet, and we believe that it will be successful at the end, which is measured by the completion rate. But we expect at least in Greece we have more than 50% completion rate, because our laboratory and our university is well known to this community of smart cities, and therefore they trust us and they follow our trainings. So what else? So what else?
Panos,
We want to
just
develop.
jump in. Just 1 minute left, if that's okay. Sorry, just jump in.
Okay, so I will conclude. So we would like to develop, we have done the preliminary steps for 2 more trainings that should be available. One that will be dedicated for universities or educational organizations, because universities are producing a lot of data, and this data have to be open, research data, educational data, operational data and well quality assurance data. All these data are lost. Only very few universities in Europe are creating open data and would like this to change. So our vision is to have collaborations with universities that are capitalizing this data in order to make our educational offerings better. And of course, we have a sample curriculum for open data stewards. And generally, you know, the market is demanding this occupational profile. And the third one that we started developing it this year, it's about a course on open science. Probably you all know what open science is. It has 4 dimensions: scientific knowledge, infrastructure, engagement of the citizens, and dialogue, capitalizing on the knowledge. And open science is facing a lot of challenges because it's not known to the public and not even to us that we are working at universities. And in order to address this, we have to systematically promote open science principles. This is something many universities are doing, but not in a systematic way. They are based, most of the cases, in efforts, heroic efforts of individuals, but we have to create training programs to make this well known. And of course, in order to succeed, there are many, we have to know the market, we have to know the needs, we have to create, there are training programs, but we have to create standard curriculum, bodies of knowledge people should learn, and certification schema that will enable people to be certified that they have this knowledge. And with this, I would like to close. Thank you for your attention. Sorry if I took a couple of minutes more, but there was too many things to present. Thank you very much.
Amazing. Thank you, Panos. That was exceptionally interesting. I've got many notes here written down kind of everything from the Open Data City Officer, the importance of that, and then the importance of collaboration and upskilling across municipalities. So an exceptionally interesting presentation. If anyone does have any questions, please do put them in the chat and we'll come back to it at the end. So our next presenter is Daniela García from the Open Data Director and as a Secretary of Innovation and Science and Technology in Buenos Aires, Argentina. So Daniela, over to you. And Panos, just to say you're still sharing your screen. Oh, not anymore. Perfect. Thank you. So Daniela, over to you when you're ready. Thank you.
Thanks.
Bueno, buenas tardes a todos. Muchas gracias. Agradecer nuevamente al equipo de Open Data Charter por la invitación a contar un poco sobre los desafíos que vemos, por lo menos desde nuestro lugar en el equipo de datos de Argentina, en términos de capacidades en los profesionales que trabajan con datos abiertos en el sector público. Voy a pasar a compartir pantalla. Tengo una pequeña presentación. Entiendo que ahí se está compartiendo la pantalla. Bien, un poco para pensar en cuáles son los desafíos que tenemos en términos del desarrollo de las capacidades de las personas que están involucradas en el proceso de apertura de datos en el Estado. Pensamos quizás en distintas verticales sobre las cuales tenemos diferentes desafíos. En primer lugar, o por donde abordamos la apertura de datos es desde un concepto inicialmente teórico. Bueno, ¿por qué abrimos datos? ¿Para qué lo abrimos? ¿Con qué objetivo? ¿Cuáles son todas esas justificaciones, esos motivos por los cuales trabajamos en datos abiertos? Digo, más allá de las cuestiones técnicas que a quienes sean más del palo tecnológico se le pueden ocurrir, digo, hay cuestiones que están relacionadas con políticas de gobierno abierto, transparencia, rendición de cuentas y demás. Ese fue uno de los primeros abordajes y ahí quizás el desafío es hacer llegar eso sin que se piense que es como más una imposición teórica a cumplir, sino entender cuáles son los beneficios, son más tareas de sensibilización. Por ejemplo, durante el mes de marzo, que tuvimos la celebración por el Día Internacional de los Datos Abiertos, desde el equipo de Argentina hicimos unas jornadas de datos abiertos. Nosotros, en este momento particular en nuestro país, está comenzando una nueva gestión que empezó en diciembre del año pasado, con lo cual hay mucho recambio de equipos. Entonces estamos haciendo todos estos pasos sobre las capacidades que necesitamos encontrar en gobierno. Entonces la primera que hicimos fue unas primeras jornadas donde tratamos de llevar los conceptos básicos de qué son los datos abiertos, invitar a las distintas personas trabajando en gobierno en distintas verticales, no solamente en los equipos de estadística, hay también el gran desafío de hacer llegar esa teoría atrás de los datos abiertos es que no siempre te enfrentás a un mismo perfil de equipo. Puedes tener equipos más tecnológicos, puedes tener equipos que estén más abocados a estadísticas oficiales de su organismo, puedes tener equipos que estén mucho más dedicados a cuestiones de transparencia, de rendición de cuentas, de atención ciudadana. Y en algunos pocos casos, por lo menos en nuestro país, nos encontramos con equipos que son propiamente de datos abiertos, que conocen toda la teoría detrás, que son con quienes hablamos en el mismo idioma. Entonces, en esta vertical, en esta más teórica, por llamarla de una manera, esos son como los grandes desafíos que fuimos encontrando y en los que nos volvemos a encontrar cuando ocurren estos cambios a nivel administrativo en los países. Después, en segundo lugar, pensamos en una vertical más técnica, más de cómo hacemos datos abiertos. Ya entendimos el porqué, ya entendimos todo el marco que nos respalda para hacer este trabajo. Ahí, así como hablábamos en una primera instancia de más bien tareas de sensibilización, de difusión, de explicar ese ABC para entender qué son los datos abiertos, hay que entender ahora o lograr que los equipos entiendan también cómo podemos tener un marco común a la hora de abrir esos datos de manera técnica. Esto es, ¿qué estándar vamos a utilizar para escribir una fecha? Algo tan básico como eso. Y que quizás acá el mayor desafío es, en esta diversidad y en esta heterogeneidad de equipos contra los que tenés que conversar, qué tan arraigado tienen alguna tradición a la hora de administrar datos. No, nosotros, porque usamos este sistema, tratamos de usar siempre esta fecha. Quizás no te coincide con otra cosa, es difícil de lograr que haya interoperabilidad entre datos, incluso desde entre un propio organismo. Nos encontramos mucho con las distintas iniciativas de datos abiertos dentro de los organismos, dependen de equipos distintos que quizás no hablan entre ellos. Entonces, el choque técnico que tenés, los grandes problemas que tenemos ahí son cuestiones más de interoperabilidad, cómo logramos hacer esa definición técnica de cómo vamos a abrir datos para que dejemos de perder tanto tiempo en hacer que ellos hablen entre sí. Ahora bien, una vez que pasamos estas dos grandes etapas de entender por qué lo hacemos y cómo lo hacemos, creo que ahí ya es cuando empiezan los equipos a dar sus primeros pasos, a ser un poco más independientes. Nos enfrentamos a un tercer desafío, que es identificar la demanda y para quién estamos trabajando en estos momentos, para quién estamos abriendo estos datos, qué es lo que necesitan. Y es uno de los grandes desafíos, saber a qué comunidad le estamos hablando. Hay equipos que lo tienen mucho más claro e identificado y su proceso de apertura va muy ajustado a lo que está esperando recibir la comunidad. Hay menos reclamos, por así decir, en esto no es lo que necesito, esto no está en el estándar que es necesario, esto está desactualizado y demás. Los equipos que han logrado hacer girar esta rueda de manera eficiente, de manera rápida, son aquellos que han logrado que su proceso de apertura esté sumamente validado desde quienes están desde afuera consumiendo esos datos. Y hasta acá veníamos trabajando, y en Argentina durante mucho tiempo trabajamos con estas tres ruedas, y este último tiempo con el avance que ha tenido la tecnología, con diferentes cuestiones, hemos detectado que tenemos una cuarta rueda a la que a la que nos estamos enfrentando, que es el uso de los datos abiertos, pero desde el propio Estado, desde el propio sector público. Entonces, ¿qué pasa si nosotros también somos usuarios de esos datos públicos? O de esos datos abiertos que abrimos en el sector público. Entonces, esta nueva rueda a la que nos estamos enfrentando ahora nos plantea una serie de beneficios si logramos resolverlo, o pensar cómo si usamos los datos abiertos que generamos desde el propio sector público podemos brindar mejores servicios públicos a la ciudadanía, cómo podemos estimular la innovación dentro de los equipos, cómo podemos mejorar cómo podemos generar una eficiencia administrativa en términos de procesos que son quizás repetitivos o que están medios desagregados por el Estado, cómo entender, bueno, esta persona en este organismo está haciendo esto con datos, yo también tengo esto, podemos trabajar en conjunto, podemos articular, podemos pensar en una solución que se complementen las tareas que hacemos de los dos lados y lograr que esto impacte en algo claro, como que los procesos internos de gobierno sean mucho más eficientes. Y claramente la definición de una política pública que está basada en una evidencia real, conocida, que sea que podamos rendir cuentas, que entender que esta definición se toma porque esto está aplicado por este otro organismo que avala que lo que estamos definiendo, la política pública por la que queremos empezar a trabajar, tiene cierto sustento. Creo que esta última de las ruedas es justo en el momento en el que nos encuentra ahora en Argentina, en repensar si ya logramos hacer trabajar eso, cómo hacemos que nosotros como parte del sector público también seamos grandes usuarios de datos. Creo que ese hoy por hoy es uno de los principales desafíos que por lo menos tenemos nosotros en el equipo de datos de Argentina, es encontrar usuarios dentro de los productores también. Y un poco el mapa que nos queda de ruedas o de verticales que tenemos que trabajar se termina convirtiendo en, nosotros desde el equipo tratamos de armar o estamos pensando ya nuestro esquema de capacitaciones para lo que nos queda de este año. Y las capacitaciones siempre terminan siendo, bueno, ¿cómo capacitamos o cómo generamos distintas iniciativas para que los usuarios de datos puedan encontrar mejor la información, poder trabajar con algún conjunto de datos que tiene tal estándar y demás? Y por otro lado, ¿cómo trabajamos con los equipos nuevos dentro del gobierno para que puedan generar datos que sean estandarizados, que sean interoperables entre sí? Y llega un punto también que en quienes son productores de datos de a poco tienen que empezar a entender la lógica desde el otro lado, desde el lado de los usuarios. Entonces, ahí un poco creo que estoy ahí cerrando ya los minutitos. Me parece que esos son como los desafíos que tenemos. Digo, a medida que vaya pasando el tiempo, que ciertos procesos empiecen a ser un poco, estén mucho más optimizados o fluyan de manera más ágil, vamos a necesitar tener nuevas ruedas, vamos a tener que plantearnos nuevos desafíos. Y hoy por hoy, a lo que nos enfrentamos nosotros desde el equipo de datos en Argentina, estamos en esta situación.
Amazing. Thank you very much, Daniela. I love that presentation. I think especially the fact around kind of showing the value and not enforcing anything onto people around open data and the possibility of how a producer of data can actually be a consumer of data, and kind of telling that full story is a really nice picture and encourages us to do so. Next on the list, we have Tommaso Balbo de Vinadio, who is the program advisor and lecturer at the Sciences Co-Executive Education in Paris in France. So Tommaso, over to you. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Joe. Let me share my screen. Sec. Can you see my screen? Yes, I believe you can.
Yes, we can see your screen.
Perfect. So it's 32. I'm gonna finish at 42. So no, thanks a lot, Joe, for the invitation. Nice presentations from Daniela and the other colleague. So basically, what I'm gonna do here is to basically take a step back and have a more holistic approach. I would say. I think you, Joe, you read the article that was published by a political, right? And it was basically highlighting some messages that we kind of identified in this competency framework we developed with UNESCO. So I'm gonna discuss this, and for sure I'm gonna touch upon open data. We're here to discuss open data capacity building. However, it's just one of the skills of the competency framework we developed. There are a lot of messages that I could have highlighted. I'm just going to mention a few. You know, we're here to talk about you know, open data. Daniela highlighted some of the benefits. It's fundamental, yet there are still some problems. Open data, as I just said, is one of the main skills of the digital competency framework that we developed with UNESCO. We did quite some work to like identify those digital competencies. The focus was on public sector, so digital competencies for public sector officials when they design and develop digital transformation projects. There is still some work and research to better understand the two things, what these digital competencies are. We're still at the beginning, I believe, and for whom. And also one major point, we can discuss this later or at another venue. There is really need for us to think about how to contextualize digital competencies if you think about different contexts. So I wanted to do like today I was thinking about that. You may think this is not related to the discussion today, but you'll understand that it is in just a moment. One of my main areas of research is how to develop great organizations and great teams. Now, I did a lot of research. I'm going to publish also a book about it. And it's interesting because what I'm not going to like discuss the framework that I developed, but what I wanted to like highlight here, you remember the first message, how important transparency is. You have no idea each and every like great organization I came across, I researched about, I observed, had communication at the center. Communication, transparency was really, really important in each and every organization for them to be more productive, for them to have trust, okay? So in each and every organization that I researched about, access to information, communication was key to have more trust, to make people more productive, employees, etc., etc. And you know, if you're interested in this research, I can tell you more. Now, I'm not gonna like discuss and spend so much time on this. Daniela mentioned, you know, some of the benefits of you know, having open data, transparency in government. There are a lot of examples, some of which we may be quite familiar with, like COVID, and it's very important for driving, you know, innovation, improve, if possible, decision-making processes, etc., etc. And it does lead to trust. There is quite some research that shows the connection between, you know, improving transparency and improving trust in the government, for sure. Yet, if we think about, you know, organizations, there are not many organizations that, you know, have a lot of access to information, transparency, etc., etc. And the same applies to government. There is still a long way to go. Now, the competency framework that we developed with UNESCO. Why did we do that? Two messages here, right? You know, there is growing evidence, right, about the advantages of digital transformation in public sector. If you think about right now, there is a lot of hype on AI. I was just reading something about how to apply AI for participatory budgeting and, you know, make the process more sound, solid, efficient, effective, digital services, etc., etc. One interesting thing, and it was also one of the drivers and one of the reasons why we decided to, like, you know, develop a competency framework on digital competencies, was that, you know, and I was staff at the World Bank. I did a lot of projects on digital transformation. I continue to do consultancies. And what I observe is that many digital transformation, yes, there are a lot of advantages, right, of digital transformation public sector. However, many digital transformations, as you may be aware, they do fail, right, for like different reasons, one of which is competency gaps. You know, there are a lot of like examples out there that point into this direction. But what is important to understand here is that, you know, the lack of appropriate skills and capabilities to design and develop, you know, digital transformation projects is indeed a major concern. It's one of the reasons why we developed this competency framework. So the objective was, yes, to develop a digital competency framework. There was had like two dimensions, I would say: comprehensive, and that's quite important. There are a lot of not a lot, but quite few competency frameworks out there. Increasingly, there are more. But what we wanted to do is for different governments in different parts of the world to kind of get a common understanding and an easy understanding of what this was, and also practical, meaning how to put these digital competencies in use. The main research question was this one that I just mentioned. So I'm sorry, this is not a beautiful slide. Here, what I wanted to show you, and if you're interested, I can show you the report. You can do that as well, Joe. It's the competency framework we developed. We're not gonna like go into the detail of everything. Maybe just in terms of the structure and the overall dimension, we identified, and it was like a long process, a long project, and it was even difficult for us to categorize. Again, one main objective was for us to make this competency framework as accessible and easy to understand as possible, whether you were the UK or the government of Madagascar. So three like main competencies: digital planning and design, data use and governance, and digital management execution with proficiency levels. And we did include also the attitude, or you might say the mindset, that are really important, are fundamental for all this to happen. What's interesting is that one of the skills, as I mentioned at the beginning, is open data, open government. Okay, I'm not gonna go. This is just one extract from the competency framework, and as you can see, there is some detail about what open data, open government is. How we describe, and the different proficiency level from like basic, intermediate, advanced, etc., etc. And maybe if I can tell you just a little bit some few things about the work we did. How do we come up with this competency framework? We did review the competency frameworks and syllabi from university that were there. We did realize that there were a set of principal standards and competencies that were common. However, there were also some incoherences and gaps in terms of the terminology, and this is quite interesting, linking the competencies skills to problems and needs. It was quite interesting for me to realize that many projects on digital transformation, they did not have an overview of what the specific competencies they needed for this project to be successful. This may be a little bit too complicated. And some of the other dimension we looked at, the current competencies, capacity gaps, and other things. There are still a lot of questions. I actually highlighted just a few questions that are quite important for us to think about from the roles. There is quite some discussion about digital competency in public sector. One of the question is, do all public sector need a certain level of digital data literacy, for which role? Or the question about contextualization, right? Are the same digital competency needed for governments that have different digital maturity? And if not, how do we adapt them? I think my time is up, but I'm done.
That's perfect timing, Tomaso. Amazing. Thank you very much, and brilliant presentation. Very much can resonate with the challenge around that skills gap and why many digital transformation projects often fail. But again, what a powerful tool to have a competency framework which goes kind of across borders for everyone to resonate with. So we're on to our final presentation, who is by Augusto Herrmann, who is a data engineer and a Secretary of Management and Innovation in Public Services at the federal government in Brazil. So the final presentation, if you do have any questions, please put them in the chat or wait till the end. Augusto, over to you.
Hi, Joe. Hi, everyone. I'll just share my presentation in a moment. Sorry. Can you see it?
Yes, we can see it.
Oh, thank you. So I'll talk about some of our experience in open data here in Brazil. A little bit of my background, mathematics and computer science, knowledge management, IT management, natural language processing. I have been a civil servant since 2004, and I have worked on the national open data policy from 2010 to 2018. Actually, we started the national open data policy here. But since 2020, I have been working with data engineer here at the Secretariat for Management and Innovation. You can also, if you want to check the slide, we have a link here. I'll make sure to share it later. What's unique about our experience in open data in Brazil is because it was kind of built on a bottom-up approach, while other countries have make it generally top-down. Some high-ranking official, sometimes heads of state, determines that open data policy was to be created. At that time, that was most common. In Brazil, on the other hand, we had civil society groups organized in asking for an open data policy similar to what was already happening on the first open data initiatives like the UK and the USA. But we were just a team of 3 public officials. We didn't have a policy budget for developing the policy and building the portal. But this was the dawn of the Open Government Partnership, and we were working with that as well, and we saw that it advocated for the principles of transparency, collaboration, and social participation. We had also read the book by Van Berlo in 2008, Civil Servant 2.0. So we decided to use the collective intelligence of those interested parties in the civil society to build from the ground up, from a bottom-up approach. So anyone who was interested could participate. All our processes, plans, and schedules were documented in the open. Anyone could see it, anyone could suggest and participate in the meetings and everything. So we got a lot of people from diverse backgrounds, such as developers, designers, and all sorts of ways of life participating. So I can say I'm fairly sure this was the first government portal around the world that was built in a collaborative manner like this. The meetings took place in the formal places like cafes, and so as to be more inviting and open for participation. We also at that time, 2011, that was not common, but it did stream the meetings and have remote participation for people who couldn't travel, because Brazil is a quite large country, so people can't really travel that easily to the capital, Brasilia. In 2012, we decided to structure the policy around an infrastructure for open data in different working groups for different concerns. One group for issues of planning and management of the initiative, another for community management, communication, and assessing data quality of what was already being open. Another for the technology and technical competencies. another one for defining a mental data model, data modeling, ontologies and linked data. That was very in vogue at the time. And also data licensing. That is a very important matter that many data initiatives don't get quite right to this day. In 2016, we got a decree that established the requirement for every ministry and agency to create an open data planning cycle, and that would detail which data sets they would open in the period of the plan, which are usually a couple of years. And we also built, we offered capacity building workshops, and just over a year we have over 700 public officials attending in person, and also we had an online course because the public administration in Brazil is so large and spread across the territory, and it would be impossible to make everything in person. So we got over 1,800 attendants to the online course. About 2019, there was a transition. The Open Data Policy Management was transferred to the Office of the Comptroller General, called the CGU in the Portuguese acronym, by decree. And I was no longer working with managing the Open Data Policy. And I went to the Secretariat for Management and Innovation to work on data management, data governance, and we used mostly free and open source technologies such as Apache Airflow for orchestrating data pipelines to make data mart and data lake for decision making, but also to open data where applicable if a subset of the data was suitable for open data. We do open many data sets, and those data sets encompass all of the administration, because at the Secretariat, we are responsible for systems that encompass data from all ministries and agencies. So those are undoubtedly important data sets. And I thought about some aspects I wanted to bring to discussion to this call, and perhaps I should address some things I think are important remaining challenges. I'm not sure how much those are being addressed by current data initiatives, but I do see that there's room for improvement in them, such as integration, data integration across national and local levels of government, integration of international data and development standards, establishing an effective feedback loop with data users, identifying high-value data and fostering data use, maturity in data management and data governance, data anonymization, and automatic data licensing. So for data integration across levels of government, that's a particular challenge in Brazil because we have over 5,000 municipalities, and even keeping track of every data portal URL is really hard. We don't have a database updated database with all those portals. Also, it's important to federate data portals so that citizens can search in just one place and find data wherever they are. Maybe people don't realize, they don't know if the data they seek is in hands of the federal or local government or state government. So it's very important to federate data portals. It's important also to develop common data standards, because in one municipality you have data about let's say public schools, and the data about statistics and locations of public schools are the same every other municipality. So if you don't have standards, you can't aggregate data, and we can't reuse tools. It's important also to foster a network of public officials across local administrations for discussing and sharing their experiences on open data, and also to leverage interested civil society groups and projects, such as, for example, Querido Diário, which is a civil society project with over hundreds of volunteers. They scrape the official gazettes of municipalities. Also, Fragdenstaat in Germany that also collects data about government, but these are all civil society projects. Also, in the international level, it's important to have such networks to share experiences, and I think that this Open Data Charter working group is one such forums, but there are also other ones such as global initiatives for fiscal transparency, open spending. It's also important to have data standards in specific domains, such as fiscal data package. And it's really important to have integrated searchable databases of international data, such as Open Corporates, where you can search for companies and identifiers in many different countries and jurisdictions. And every politician is where you can search for politicians in many countries, but that project is no longer available. You must also establish a feedback loop with data users. The data portals should have a feedback mechanism, so people who use the data can report errors, ask for clarification. What does this column name mean? What does this value mean? And things like that. It's important to identify high-value data and foster data use. The G8 Open Data Charter did have one such list, Open Data Barometer, Open Data Index. All of those have a list of important data sets, but that's a start, but it's not enough. Doing public consultations for open data plans, which data the administration is going to open in these plans. That's important, but also not enough, because many people don't even participate or know about those public consultations. Data publishers should engage with the data using communities, such as participating in data science or engineering forums, or in events such as Open Data Day, which is already mentioned here. And also hold their own events to showcase their best data and allow for data users to question, to present their questions about the data. We also should.
Just conscious of time. If we can just do one more minute. Sorry.
Okay, thank you. I'm almost finished. We should make sure that we have a maturity in data management and data governance inside the organization, such as such that we can better organize the data, and that's also make it know everyone who is responsible for each piece of data, and have documentation on the meaning of every table, column, and that will also make easier to make documentation for open data available and be well documented. Data anonymization should be treated as a security issue because of risk of re-identification. There are many techniques for that, such as omitting, as masking sensitive fields, data aggregation, but that should take care of not making it possible to re-identify personal information. And the last issue I want to mention here is automatic data licensing, because licensing issues are complex and they depend on the national copyright or database right laws. And legal analysis is complicated and it should be centralized so that we achieve an all-encompassing solutions that will be the same for all of the administration, so that the choice of license should come out automatically from the top, not leave middle-level managers or developers to choose a license. And that license should usually put data in the public domain, or at most require attribution. So That's it, and thank you, and I'll be glad to answer any questions and further discuss.
Amazing. Thank you, Augusto. I'll open the floor to any questions very quickly. I know we're very much conscious of time, but if anyone does have any questions, please feel free to jump in. Diego.
Hi. I don't know, can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Yes.
Okay. So my question, maybe for a bit all of the presentations, is concerning the hardware or the infrastructure that all these protocols and data and capacity building uses. Are you mainly using private things like Microsoft or is this kind of national or public infrastructure that you are using for the open data? I don't know if my question is clear.
I don't know if any of the speakers want to come in on that.
In our case, we use a mixture of many different, both virtual machines on data centers and public cloud services. But ideally, that should, considering that open data by definition does not have sensitive information, I see no problem to use. We should usually use what is more readily available and cheaper to host.
Amazing. Thank you, Augusto. And I can see Natty's put something in the chat around where most governments hold their open data portals. Just conscious of time, unfortunately, have to wrap up. A huge thank you to all our 4 presenters, exceptionally insightful, and the recording will be shared after. But again, a huge thank you to all of our presenters. Hope it's been a useful session. And a reminder, the next one is the last Tuesday of the month in May. So hopefully we'll see you all then. But thank you again and take care.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you very much. See you next
Thanks
month.
so much to all the speakers. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
See you.
Keep in touch.
Gracias, chao.